Herlock. Firstly, just to comment on some of the statements that Senator Chambers referred to around the scaremongering people when it comes to climate change. I don't think that is Senator Higgins' attentions. You know, we are very afraid of what's happening at the moment in this bill around climate change, and especially for poor communities. And let me be very blunt, Minister. From my reading of this bill, and all weekend of reading this bill, I must say this is a bill for one group of people. It's for white, settled, rich people. And it's unfortunate that it was 4 years in the making, that it didn't include people with disabilities, nor does it include members of the traveller community, which has been failed for the last 20 years under the TAP programme. We talk about aggressive and personalised. I'm a member of the traveller community. I work for people who is disabled, who has disabilities, who expect me to speak up on their behalf. Called to vote today, and it was unfortunate the government didn't vote with us around the UN rights of the person with special needs, with disability rights. And again, that's all evident for people with disabilities to see. So, like, it's the organisations that will be back in contact with their local senators, and I welcome that, and I'm supporting the organisations to get in contact with their local senators and to say to them, look, if you support disability rights, the proof is in the pudding. I'll be calling another vote on 105, and again the proof will be in the pudding. Here in this chambers, you either support people with disabilities or you don't. End of story. You either support the UN, the CRPD rights of people with disabilities, or you don't. End of story. I don't have to speak in hours on my amendments. I just straight to the point. We've failed members of the traveller community for decades in accommodation. Our Amendment 99 talks about having a standalone traveller strategy where traveller organisations for years, the expert group on traveller accommodation in 2019 has called for it. It's not me, Eileen Flynn, calling for it. It's members of my community, of our community. And it's unfortunate, Minister, that it's you that's in front of me today, because I have great time and respect for you. I'd see you more as a friend than even a colleague. But again, I'm playing this broken record. I always the one that talks up about the travellers. And we continue to fail and fail and fail. Senator Higgins rightly said about the Sustainable Development Goals. There's still some people in this country that doesn't have access to running water. We should be ashamed of ourselves. That don't have adequate access to accommodation. This plan is, and I am saying it in an anger manner, because I see people in Labrie Park, Hottonside, that's living in horrible, absolutely horrible and dire living conditions. Rural Ireland, I'm dealing with a young mother at the moment, shoved in a one-bedroom apartment, member of the traveller community, underneath HAP. You're a member of the traveller community, you're a black person. You're automatically going to face racism when you're looking for a rented accommodation. So many barriers, Minister, that I haven't even touched on. I'm only on Amendment 99. So again, it's those Sustainable Development Goals, put the people at the end up front. And I think Senator Higgins' points around climate change is very, very important. And I think she's right. We don't talk about it enough. We don't have solutions. And we most definitely do not have the green solution that your party talks about an awful lot. And I would absolutely beg you today and your officials to accept our Amendment 99. It is personal, and it's extremely personal. Barton Murden and Hottonside can see nothing but failure from the state. There's nobody held to account. I said to Minister Alan Dillon last Thursday in the Traveller Committee, who is held responsible for the lack of implementation. And his words is on record for everybody to see. It's the local authority. Do you know, Minister, TAP, the Traveller Accommodation Programme, it's the only committee that county councillors are not paid to be on. Now, a lot of county councillors are on it just to disturb the plans from going ahead and to stop traveller accommodation taking part in their place. But you also have a lot of county councillors that mean well and want to see travellers thrive in communities and want travellers to be part of their communities. So that's my amendment, our amendment, CEG's 99. It's around the standalone traveller agency around accommodation. And again, you know, I get it. A lot is saying it's not. It is personal when you're standing here representing members of the traveller community, trying your very best, and it's personal as well for me when I sit on the Disability Matters Committee. When I see people with when a park in Ardra hasn't got a swing for children who are autistic, that's very basic human rights. Very, very basic that we should, even for children, have equal access to play for our children in our parks. And Amendment 105, again, Minister, this amendment is to ensure accessibility and inclusive facilities under the UN Convention on the Rights of a Person with Disabilities. Saying people have a choice to live independently means absolutely nothing if we do not provide accessibility and inclusion facilities, which, as I spoke about, one example of a play area for a child with additional needs, just an example. So again, you know, we're talking about supports here that enable people, that empowers people to be themselves. So I will be calling a vote on number 105, and it's like, you know, it's organisations are looking in at this debate. It's not about gaslighting and saying, oh, this is not personal. Actually, it is personal, and it's my fourth time to say that in this in these two amendments. It's very, very personal. Traveller children are living in halting sites with a special additional needs that don't have you know, ramps to go up into trailers, that don't have proper facilities. So it's extremely personal, and I would encourage my colleagues to vote in support of disabled people and people from the traveller community who are too often left behind in all planning and development bills, let it be housing, let it be whatever it may be, Minister. We are always the communities that's left behind. So now it's the time to put us up front and support us today. Put your money where your mouth is. Thank you.